Hey folks, and welcome. It's Dr. Evans with a strategy short. These are just brief videos I put together that review and comment on our never-ending search for the best of the best instructional strategies. We're talking about the no doubt about it, talk to the hand, top strategies that our best teachers use each and every day in the classroom to move achievement for all students. Now, remember, our only goal here is for all of us to learn and grow together, to push our thinking a little bit, to challenge our assumptions, and of course, to celebrate and honor the great work of teachers who do this work each and every day in our classrooms on behalf of our children and families. So let's get right to today's topic by exploring this question: is student collaboration an evidence-based best practice? Sounds like a great topic. Let's jump right in. Now, before we get into today's topic, I wanted to provide this graphic here that I think provides us some context for the discussion today. And what you're looking at here is a sort of a summary graphic of 12 steps or actions that are typically in place when teachers are implementing practices that lead to student mastery of content or mastery of skills. These are consistently supported by both research and classroom observation. And I'll try to kind of talk about each one of these through these strategy shorts. So if there's one you're less familiar with or one you don't even agree with, no problem at all. Jump over to the video and hopefully that will provide you a little bit more context to why I included it on the graphic. And let me orient you briefly to the graphic itself. These 12 steps, like I said, are typically in place when we're leading students through a process of content skill mastery or grade level mastery of content. But keep in mind that not all teachers go through these in the same order. The order is typically the same, but every teacher is a little bit different. And then also, teachers don't always begin and end at the same place. While the order is typically fairly consistent, the beginning and end point can change depending on the teacher's style and lesson plan. As for the names I provided here, if you don't know the term that I provided or you'd like to call it by something else, that's perfectly fine. Just swap it out. I don't get too much caught up in the terminology. I just know that in our profession, the names of things tend to change over time, and they even change by region and community. So with that being said, let's jump into our content slide and begin to unpack our topic for today. All right, so let's jump right into our content slide for today on our topic of student collaboration. And let me just go right out the gate here and answer the question I posed at the beginning. Is student collaboration an evidence-based best practice? And the answer to that is, of course, yes. It is a key component to student learning. It is supported both by research and what we see our best teachers using in their classrooms to move achievement. And when we see things supported by research and being expressed by our best teachers, we know we have a best practice on our hands. And student collaboration is a key best practice. I give you three considerations today when you think about doing student discussion, collaborative groups, or any version of student-to-student collaboration in your classroom. One is it's key to me that the students are talking about content, right? We want them talking about grade level content. That's the whole point of them having the conversation. And if that's the case, then I think it's better often than not that they're talking using the academic vocabulary of the content that you teach, the subject area you teach. I describe that here as tier 3 vocabulary. So listen for that. 2, collaboration gives students a chance to express themselves, right? And to defend their thinking, or maybe to make corrections to their own thinking when they hear another student express their thoughts. Which leads me to point number 3, which is peer-to-peer support, modeling, and even tutoring can be a very valuable tool. While students certainly are learning from the teacher, we might be surprised to learn how much they learn from each other. And so it's an opportunity for students to, in a safe space, talk with their classmates about their own understandings and misunderstandings. When you do this work, I left for you here 3 or 4 sort of monitoring considerations. One is pacing. This is one of the biggest mistakes we make when we do student collaboration, and that is we give students too much time to get into groups, too much time to have the conversation, and maybe even spend too much time debriefing what they talked about. So just give that some consideration so we don't lose too much instructional time to the actual collaborative procedures. To give strong consideration, I would argue, to the questions you're asking. The actual question stems need to be higher order, obviously, and that takes some real doing and some practice to get good at. And then anything you can do to make sure that 100% or nearly 100% of students are responding, are on task, a strategy like 100% or no opt-out. My Teach Like a Champion book is around here somewhere, or any of those strategy books have great strategies for you to consider. And so those are some things to think about when you implement collaborative structures and collaborative conversation. And I hope it becomes a best practice in your toolkit. And now let's move on to our next slide. So I'm going to offer you just 2 or 3 things to think about when you get back to your school, to reflect upon, and maybe to have a conversation about among your colleagues when you're talking to them in the hallway about student collaboration. One is, what's my go-to strategy or strategies to get students talking in the moment? So for example, if I plan for student collaboration, which I should be doing as part of my lesson planning, good things will come from that. But there's also that moment in a classroom, in a lesson, where I just feel the need to stop and have students talk. And so have some of those in the moment, real quick strategies to get them to turn and talk or move into groups and then move back out of groups in a timely way. Secondly, how do I move students from discussion strategies, which is critical? Discussion is really, really important in our classrooms, to accountable talk structures. And those are not exactly the same things, but ultimately I want to get students to talk and then to be held accountable for their talking and their conclusions in a student-friendly way, where I'm giving them feedback and saying, yes, way to go, you got it, versus, no, that's not quite it, keep talking. So just know that that's another step in our discussion around student collaboration. And thirdly, how do I ensure that all students are contributing to the conversation, right? This again gets us back to all the strategy books that we all turn to when we need a good strategy. But just so you know, ultimately, we want everyone talking. The key to that might be a timer. I'm a big fan of collaborative structures that have a set time to them. I just think that'll keep you on pace, keep students on pace. And there's other strategies to get every student talking and every student contributing in a positive way. And via these strategy shorts, I like to give you one summary statement that I think is supported by research and by teacher best practice around this topic of student collaboration. So this is what I offer you in this regard. Student discussion of content is not only a powerful method for cementing learning, it also increases student voice. It broadens student perspectives, it fosters student self-confidence, and it contributes to more equitable outcomes. So yes, I would encourage you very strongly to work at and become really good at student collaboration techniques in your classrooms. And a final quote to leave you with today: students, may our efforts make you stronger, wiser, and kinder. May your teachers be fearless in forging in you an unshakable faith and confidence. And may you accomplish in your life more than you ever thought you could. My wish for our students is also my wish for you. And here's hoping today's conversation will make you a better teacher and really embracing this topic of student collaboration on behalf of the children and families who we all serve. Thank you for listening, and I hope you join us next time.